Great. Let's get started. Thank you guys for coming. Welcome to the second of the series of Train the Trainer. This one is focused on wine. Don't be a wine O or wine zero. I am not a wine zero, although I don't know a lot about wine. I drink a lot of it, as you all know. Malbec Mally is my nickname, I think, on the rooftop. But before we get started, let's do a recap of last week's Train the Trainer. That was our original series, and we kind of like what you guys have gone through over the week or over the month. We talked last time about pre-shifts, host stands, training manuals and menus, 5-day training and testing. I saw a couple emails going on about testing. I think was trademark.
Who was that? Who was at the last one with the Train the Trainer? Raise your hand.
I think it was all the general managers, right?
Got it. Okay.
And who knows about the notes from last? If you weren't here, find out about it.
Any notes?
Test.
Yeah. Okay. Shoulders to shoulders and a hard conversation. So let's just go around the room. We'll start with Mike. Any takeaways from last month that you guys have implemented? Anything new?
Kind of what you guys were trying to agree on us, taking more ownership of the training.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a structure in place and kind of, I wouldn't say we were staying on that, so it was kind of getting back on to staying with the structure and being more proactive with training.
And like service notes, you guys have been continuing with the service notes?
Yeah.
What are some of the service notes for this week that you guys have been
for the past couple weeks, we've been focusing on entrees, so, focus on, we should be moving more ribeyes, we should be moving more pork chops. We saw last week that it did have a direct effect early in the week.
Right.
So it's just, just being annoying, constantly saying, hey guys, this is what you guys should be working on tonight. So.
Cool. And you feel like the staff is responding to it?
Yeah. Telling us to, being annoying is not the right word, but stay on it. But
It's talked about in each pre-shift and it's posted in the office. So every time they're leaving the office, it's on the door right there.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, so we haven't really had anybody new in terms of training for the most part, but we've been training ourselves and testing ourselves. Starting with the cocktail list, moving on to the wine list, the food menu next week, and just making sure that we're all up to speed and up to par for the busy season.
That's great.
Implementing the pre-shift sheets again and getting on board with that. And
do you have a set time? I know the rooftop has kind of like that flow of.
That's the challenge, that we don't really have like a set time to get together or a place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is on the fly and going through the pre-shift sheet.
So you do it more like one-on-one. And does when you approach your staff, do you give them a sheet, like a shrunken up sheet, or is it just more like a verbal thing?
No, so we were doing the verbal thing, but since then we've been implementing the pre-shift sheet again and
Great.
Just going through everything. So we got the one from Park that Meg sent over and kind of just tailored it for ourselves.
And you give them a copy of it, or it's just kind of posted?
We'll post it out.
Cool. Okay. Brendan?
I think for us the biggest change we made was changing the format of the pre-shift meeting. We actually changed the location of it and brought our staff into the lobby lounge.
Awesome.
We do it more of a sit down now, and it can be a little challenging at times now because it takes longer, but we usually send up a special for the staff to try. Right now we do 3 servers in the PMs, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. So we do the pre-shift at 5 o'clock with 2 of the 3 servers, and then do a more expedited one-on-one manager with the 6 o'clock server.
So the early pre-shift gets to taste the special.
Right.
Okay, cool. That's great. Do you guys do that as well? If you bring, like Chef has a special, do you bring it out for?
Yeah, the specials we're in for every every pre-shift.
Great.
We usually rotate the staff week to week on who's the 5 o'clock person, who's the 6 o'clock person. So every server gets the opportunity to be that.
Awesome. Tina, how have you guys felt it's been going over the past month? Any improvements, changes? You guys were pretty good at it to start with, and a lot of it has been based on that model. But is there any takeaways from last month?
I think the big thing has been getting back to, in our manager meeting, picking 3 hard service notes for the week, making sure that those are implemented. We agree on 3 during the meeting. We schedule fly after the meeting to all the staff so they know what they are. We print them out. We put them on the bulletin board in the stairwell, and then we pre-shift them for the week. And then our pre-shift sheet, same thing. We don't hand them out, but we have it hanging at the pass. So like when the 6 o'clock comes on, same thing. They just go to the window, pull it down, see the specials, see what's going on for the night. It says, you know, all the GRs and everything else like that. It's got all the info in one place.
Awesome. Keep it up. We definitely want to stay on these topics. You know, we don't want to do. Rob, no, sorry.
Just a couple questions. Has anyone integrated any new product over the last month? And if so, have they used the pre-shift to do that?
Yeah, we've been doing the prisoner, and you know, we use that as one of the service notes. And we've had, you know, a lot more traction than I thought. I thought we'd get some bites, but we're actually moving it.
Awesome.
You know, we went through the full canister. I'd say we've probably gone through 4 magnums and, you know, another bottle by the glass, at least.
Anybody else? Any other venues?
We did the new food menu item, so we were doing that the first week.
You just had some little menu change, right?
Changes, yeah.
Yeah.
Pork chop.
Not a completely new menu,
Yeah,
just
few
change.
items that were adjusted.
So we did, they saw all the changes, they saw all the plates come out at pre-shifts, and then we did the second week, right? I did a quiz with them at pre-shift for just the changes. They were minimal, but it worked.
Great. PQ?
We're just about to. We're getting some new by the glass, and we're having some switches to the menu starting tomorrow. So we will use that going forward.
I mean, you can also integrate stuff that you've had on the list for a long time, just to refresh the people that have been there for a long time, and also just in general, just to, you know, it's a good opportunity to change things up. And once a week, throw a product out there, whiskey, beer, wine, whatever, just to change up. Make sure to do it right at 5 o'clock or whatever your pre-shift is on the minute. It's another reason, like, to maybe encourage people to show up on time. Oh wow, if I showed up on time, I could have tasted that whiskey, but I showed up 5 minutes late, and now I'm fucked.
We have been reintegrating training sessions with reps. The last couple of weeks, we've had a couple Wednesdays where we've had people come in with either new products or old products to taste and train the staff on.
Anything specific you want to share? You guys talked about prisoner, you guys talked about food items. Specifics always helps with these meetings, guys, like as specific as you can get. That we're all here to learn from each other.
You asking me?
Yeah.
So we had Quintessa come in. The rep represented a couple wines that we didn't have as well, but they brought them in just so we could taste for comparison's sake. But we are bringing on Quintessa for a high-end sell. So they came in, did a tasting on that, which went over very well. Is there one tomorrow, or is it next Wednesday? There's another one coming up soon. And it does mix from one to the other. I think next week's is a whiskey. I don't remember which one, to be honest, off the top of my head.
You mentioned, Meg, you mentioned quizzes. Like, what was the format of that quiz that you put together? How many questions?
I think it was like 5 or 6 questions just on the new, like, describe the new pork chop, just the new ingredients or components. It was good. Most of them were fun, yeah. It wasn't, we'll have a newer one when we change the whole menu.
Yeah.
But it was so minimal that they had it down. And we did the, we put the chicken parmesan flatbread on, and they were used to that because we used to use it as a special not every week, a couple of times, once in a while after Sunday.
Anybody else have any like quick fire quizzes over the last month?
We've been doing the pretty in-depth quiz, about 20 questions. That's something we see a lot of mixed results on. So, now that we have them all back, like we do kind of one-on-one coaching sessions with the servers, one-on-one just to talk them through what they need to improve on. But it's, you know, we're so culinary driven. A lot of venues, I have partner employees as well. It's pretty intense test.
You feel like people are engaging more, that you're able to identify their weaknesses? You know?
Yeah, I think they're responding well to having that certain things brought to their attention.
And then anyone have a scenario over the last month where they had an informal redirect or on-the-spot training scenario where you noticed a server or a fusser or anybody, you know, doing something that was contrary to what you hoped they would be doing, and you stepped in on the spot, or, you know, caught up with them with a quick shoulder to shoulder, like something we talked about, anything you guys can share, and maybe a result of that or anything like that?
Well, right off the top of my head, I know I've pulled our bussers, I've been pulling our buses aside more recently. There just seems to always be a breakdown in communication amongst the bussers. They end up doing the same thing. So like two guys are both doing water. They'll both be off the floor working on bus tubs. So trying to develop a system where they switch off by the hour, where one guy will do bus tubs and silverware while the other guy is focusing more on floor duties and keeping that solid communication so that all aspects are being hit at all times.
Anybody else want to share anything over the last month?
Personally, one of the chief steps of service that needs work on the rooftop is that initial table touch. Our gang tends to leave tables stranded for the first couple of minutes, so it's a regular thing to go and point out the tables that haven't been touched and get them in the habit of prioritizing those steps. So that's a pretty regular shoulders.
I've got one. PQ on-time arrivals, right? That's something we've been really focused on in the last couple of weeks, and it's coming to all venues, but just whether it's shoulder to shoulder, formal write-up, verbal, whatever, based on the situation, but definitely getting people within 1 to 2 minutes of their clock-in time versus some people were 30 minutes early clocking in or some people were late. So hyper-focused on right on time.
Yeah, sure. And I think that the more you guys hold these things in from a month ago, the more you layer them in consistently, it's going to become a habit, and then you're not even going to. It's not even going to be something you think about anymore. Like, over 30 days or whatever we had this meeting ago, it's a lot of opportunity to roll these things in. So hopefully you're doing them like several different layers, several different techniques, every shift, every day. So it just becomes part of the habit, it becomes part of the culture, because honestly, we want that culture to infuse into the rest of the staff and for other managers that we're bringing on board as we grow and change up where people work. So very, very important that everything we talked about here gets folded into the culture of the restaurants. It's just become a habit. It doesn't make any sense for us to sit and talk about it and it doesn't become like part of it.
And just to add one thing kind of operationally that we discussed last time that we've been doing, and it's been a nice touch that could probably work everywhere, is giving those bar customers the menus when they come in. If they're just coming to have drinks at the bar, handing them a drink menu so that they can look in advance. It's a soft touch to go to the bar, and then also they go to the bar prepared so they don't have to wait twice, first with the drink menu and then again to get the drink.
That's great. Good job. Yeah, awesome stuff. So we're going to continue the structure of last month's meeting, where it's interactive. We're asking questions. We're bouncing ideas off of each other. There's obviously going to be a pretty large spectrum of wine expertise in the room. Some are going to be a little more polished than others, but that's okay. That's great. We can share that information. That's what this is all about. So we're going to try to wrap this up in an hour and a half. We're gonna start with Sean going over the basics. Just kind of like a wine for dummies, Sean, right?
Sure.
Then we're gonna go over some of the homework that we gave you, bounce ideas off that, and focus. And then things that we could focus on. Rob's gonna go over some things that we could focus on moving forward. And then at the end we'll have a blind tasting. It'll be kind of fun.
All right. Thank you all, everyone, for coming. What an amazing turnout. I think wine did influence that. So, did I leave the wine case in there? What did I do?
It's right here.
I need the double hinge, yeah. All right, so, a couple things.
Gotta get that back.
Yeah. Oh, I'll steal this.
I'm
don't
watching
worry.
you, buddy.
Wine service doesn't have to be super intricate, right? It can be pretty straightforward and easy, but there's a couple things that we want to nail, right? So you guys all brought wine glasses. Thank you. Everyone take a wine glass, right? All right, so most important thing is we get the right wine to the customer. So our wine lists are pretty straightforward. We don't have anything like crazy, intricate French, white burgundy sections that
Tasty.
are hard to pronounce. But just an example for trademarks menu, at the bottom you have a Cab BR Cohen, you have a Cab Ramey, and a Cab Silver Oak that goes 68, 125, 185, right? This is a very easy area for someone to mix it up, especially a newer server. So the things that we want to emphasize, if someone wants to order a bottle of wine, when they order it, we hear it, and then we check and make sure that we actually understood that. And then a lot of times I'll just double check and I'll say, I just wanted to confirm you were looking for the Ramey Cabernet. And I point to the wine because it says $125. She might have been looking for the $48 bottle. And once she agrees to this, we're in motion. And if we open it and it's not the one she wanted, we have a problem, right? So if I hear her correctly the first time, I'll say, oh, you were looking for the Ramey Cabernet, and get some sort of confirmation out of them, sign of life. They confirm, great. So then we're going to get the bottle of wine. The really important thing is that we all have wine keys, right? So servers, we've got to audit your servers. Go ask them. Go up and ask them, do you have your wine key? Do you have your wine key? Make sure everyone has a wine key. For wine service, very easy. Napkin folded. You can, if you want it to look really nice, you can do it in thirds, right? So you can keep, if you've got the stripe, right? Keep the stripe down the middle. Fold it in thirds, and then you're going to carry the wine on the serviette. So, like we said, baby or football, whichever one you like better. I prefer footballs. When we bring the wine back to the table, we show them the wine, we confirm the name. In this case, it's the In Good Co. Sorry, we're out of the Ramey. In Good Co. Cabernet, that's 2015. So we said the name of the wine, the grape, and the year. Those are the most important things. The year could change. We have vintage change, whatever it is. So we pointed out to her that this is what she ordered, In Good Co. Cabernet, 2015. We get a sign of life. Then, the whole time, the bottle, the label stays facing the customer. So we've got napkin over arm, wine key because we came to work with it. So label's facing the customer. Hopefully you don't have to make small talk. Oh, how was your weekend? President's Day, pretty amazing. Key, you want to get right all the way in the back and come around here on the foil. So you're still, label's still facing the guest, and you've started pretty much all the way around, but you didn't make it all the way around, but you've come as far as you can through here, label still facing guest, that's the most important thing, and then you can just pop the top, right? So even though it's still connected in the back, and then you can just pull this off, foil goes in pocket. So you're hitting the rim underneath, back all the way to the front, label still facing the guest. Meanwhile, President's Day, very cool, sounds like fun. Then the wine key, the point here is facing down. So we want to go this way into the bottle, right? Because if you go straight in, you're going to go diagonal, break your cork. So we're going here, straight into the side, give it a little push. We're still at President's Day, that's great. Yeah. Twisting, going all the way in. And then ideally we finish here. So then you can just take this, you go one level, second level, still facing the guest, the label the whole time. Now we're going to hold the cork, twist this off, holding the bottle, label still facing. We're presenting the cork, and with the cork they can do whatever they want with it. It's not going to tell them anything about the wine, but people love to make love to it, let them have that. Then, in an ideal world, all depends on angles. So your wine glass is top right of the guest, so you should be pouring from the right side. You're pouring a taste, that's all it is, right? So you've poured a taste, you let them taste the wine to make sure it's not corked. So she's going to give it a try. Would you like to try the Cabernet? She's tasting it, yeah, just to make sure it's not corked. If someone says, I hate this wine, no problem, we can have that conversation. But if someone's tasting it and it's off, then different discussion, right? So corked means wine's bad, let's get another bottle. I don't like the taste, then we have that conversation, right? So once she tastes the wine, we start with the oldest lady at the table, work our way through the women, and this is all ideal, clockwise, counterclockwise hit the guys, and then finish with the person that started, and then we can place the bottle on the table, ideally facing the guests, right? So serviette, presentation, grape, year, brand, We're pouring it. We're from the right side because the wine glass is at the top right of the table. Does that make sense? So you guys have to really push that. If someone's like, "Hey, I've got a bottle service," we can do this every time. It takes a little bit longer, but it's a nice touch. So when they're spending $150 on a bottle of wine, they get to look at the label, we get to talk about it, we get to taste the wine. Pour it from the right. Start with the old ladies, make our way back through the guys. Okay? Any questions on that? So who wants to open a bottle of wine? No, not Chris. Not Chris. Ernesto, you're up. There we go.
Actually, the video was
Tito? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So, why don't you, let's open this bad boy. Actually, no, it's not.
Before I do this.
So, the other thing about the wine keys, double hinge, right? A lot of people have the not double hinge, which is this version here. That breaks corks. You break a cork much easier with that single hinge because you've got a long way to go.
I brought the twist offs for us.
And it breaks, okay? So, here we go.
Now, you've done this in the past. You've done the bottom lip.
It's always the bottom lip.
Always the bottom
Yeah.
lip. Because you've had double lips.
So underneath here, right, and you come all the way around, and then you just pop the foil, and then you can pull it off. Okay?
So, like so. Label
So,
that.
yeah, label facing, and then just give it a nice underneath, like you're slicing somebody's neck, but that's not appropriate. See? That was perfect.
Nicely done.
Right? And then, but let's go from the, before you even do that. So what you got to get used to is this transition is from here where we presented the wine, Cabernet California,
I know, I thought so
It was
too.
almost poured over.
and then this goes over whole time, and then cork in. So that's where you got to get used to that transition. So this, there we go, goes right over. And if you're pouring for Mike,
You said I'm coming over the right shoulder.
well, so his glass should be at the top right, so you're always going to pour from the right side.
Right.
Now, if there's a weird angle, you can do something else. But even with the weird angle, you should still try not. You should pour it, but you're not like in front of them, cutting across them.
You lean.
You're hugging. It's always a hug.
From the left. From the right. Circle. Start at the top.
There you go.
That was our weekend.
Looks like
Should a little bit.
Yeah,
for a second.
President's Day.
Nice haircut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you smell real nice. So you want us this whole time though? You want the label facing the guest. Okay.
Michael, do you approve of that year? Is that a good vintage?
Good.
That's mine.
Go for a little taste.
Great.
Just let me know that's not spoiled.
So,
can't-
we're not going to point that out to the customer, right? They're going to taste it and they're going to say, "Oh, I think this is off." If it's off, we can get them another bottle. If they say, "I hate this," then we can take it to the manager and say, "Can we sell this off tonight by the glass or whatever?" Or if it's a really high-end wine, then it becomes a different conversation because they agreed to purchase that bottle and the bottle's actually not corked. The bottle's good, and they're saying, "I don't like it," but you just open, a $200 bottle of Cabernet. So that's situational. But if they just say it's off, then we can get them another bottle and try again.
How
All
would you
right?
handle that conversation if they say they don't like it and it's an expensive bottle?
It's a real slippery slope. It really comes down to like, we check the wine. It's not corked. Do you have some people? Just start talking to them. If they're an absolute maniac and they're not willing to discuss, then we'll get BU.
Honestly, part of the trick is to describe it. Is to go up, you taste it yourself. You bring a glass, you pour it in front of them, you taste it, and then you describe exactly what you're tasting and why you think it's fine. Because oftentimes, when people are met with a little level of expertise or seeming expertise, they'll go like, "Okay, I see that," or maybe that's what I was tasting and I didn't recognize that. Or I
I think
guess
this in particular one needs to open up a little bit. So
yeah, and also something like that, you can be like, "This is pretty new. I can see it's a little strong, but it's gonna
grow.
become more
Yeah.
mellow in 15 minutes."
you like it.
Most of the time.
Drink it.
Also, a lot of times I just want to talk. Oftentimes, just having a manager involved takes it down a notch. Like,
Now,
and
when
then
you
if they
have,
insist, they insist.
sorry, serviette take it with you, or you make it at the table? So have conversation.
No, you take it away, and technically you should be like, you know, you pour a taste, and then you're coming back and giving it a wipe before it hits the table. So then, you know, what we essentially place on the table, serviette comes with you. But every time you're back at the table pouring wine, theoretically you should have this. Again, we have busy restaurants, so it's not really perfect style every time. And then back to the corked versus not corked. If it's a big issue, then, you know, we can always send it up and say, what do you want us to do here? There's nothing on our list that's so expensive where it's really going to jam us up too bad. We can always figure out a way to sell it off and at least make our money back on the bottle versus fighting a guest over it. Sometimes it's not worth that battle.
Yeah.
So, but if it's corked, and if you guys have tasted corked bottle or an oxidized, it just tastes that metallic, funky, weird, then we can get them another bottle. If it's 2 bottles, the same thing that's off, then it's probably a case, and we'll recommend something.
Could also, if it's unrecoverable, do a flash sale on the $200 bottle. You know, just that would be your sale to every table. Like, guys, just this opportunity doesn't come along that often. But we have this bottle, we just opened it, and if you guys want to be part of it, it's $25 a glass, whatever.
So I think it's you guys become experts on this, and then let's start, like, you know, if it's Oscar at Pat, if it's Tony at PQ, let's get one expert in each venue in the service staff that's just knows this inside and out, and then.
Have you seen the video that Oscar did? He did.
Oscar's done a lot of videos.
No, for wine service. He did a video for Pat.
Did he?
I didn't see it. No.
No?
No,
We have to find that.
He did them during pre-shifts.
Fact check that.
I'll show you. Yeah.
Right on.
I think.
It was a video.
fun,
It was
right?
he
I
made a
don't really
presentation.
remember.
It's great.
That's
Like a
awesome.
PDF.
But it was a
So,
whole presentation, yeah.
But then you can empower them to, like, hey, do you mind, you know, if we open a bottle of wine, can you go shadow this person,
Yeah.
you know, and help them out, so it's peer helping peer also, right?
Yeah, when he did that, we had some new servers on the floor that, you know, I have weak skills with that as well, but
Yeah.
you know, Lanka, when she was first on the floor, it was tough to train her, and he really took ownership of that. So I think
Great.
coming from a server,
And if you have someone who's particularly gifted or who enjoys it, it's always a nice touch when someone orders a nice bottle. It doesn't have to be that server. If they're not comfortable and they feel
Right.
awkward and they're like,
Yeah.
I sold a $250 bottle and I don't. It's very easy for if you have a manager, like I'll go do it, or if you have a server on the floor who's an expert and you'd be like, for those people, they feel like they had an extra moment, like, oh,
It's a
someone
special
else came
touch, it
over and
really
opened
is,
this
yeah.
bottle.
Well, that's the other thing
Regardless.
too. It's like confidence. You know, it's selling. You're not going to sell something you're not confident in,
Yeah.
performing. So it's, if you don't know how to open a bottle of wine, you're obviously going to shy away from selling
it, yeah.
or offering it. So the more, the more routine it comes through your staff, the better off, the more sales will go up.
So just to recap, that the important things are confirming the wine on the wine list. That's step 1. Step 2 is the presentation, labels always facing. The tricks are really getting underneath that, coming all the way around this lip here, so you can just pop the foil, and then entering the corkscrew. If you just lay it on its side and give it a push, you can't go wrong. But if you go straight in, you're gonna go every which direction. So just right on the side, and we can practice on all the wines by the glass before every shift. So if you want to just practice with staff, just open wines by the glass, those bottles before the beginning of the night, just have them practice on that stuff.
Even during like lunch service, we used to do that just to practice. Just
Yeah.
getting into the habit of opening bottles that you sell by the glass, so you're gonna open it anyway.
Yeah, so just keep practicing on that. So, and then we'll talk about this at the end. Just ways to taste is we always say, color, smell, and taste are easy ways, and we're gonna do blind tasting later on, but we'll get into that, like how to teach the staff about if someone doesn't drink a lot of wine, how we can walk them through. Very easy. You just look at the color. What do you smell and what do you taste? And there's no wrong answers. There's areas you should be in of things you're tasting, but like if someone's like, I taste, cat piss, that maybe that's what they taste. I don't know. And then we can steer them to better words than cat piss.
Great tasting.
It's gone.
All right. Homework. Should we talk about that next, Rob? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Mike. What do you got? So everyone brought your numbers, right?
Yep.
This will be very interesting to see whose venues are selling what.
Okay, so by the glass, our top 3 wines were our Sauvignon Blanc.
This.
There we go.
All right. So we got.
It's 2017 too.
2013. Okay, so your whites
What? Yeah.
or top bottles, right? Top bottles.
Top bottles.
Top by the
Top
glass right
bottles.
now.
Oh, by the
By the
glass.
glass, by the glass.
By the glass. What do you got?
Sauvignon Blanc. 10975.
Dom, what's your password? IGC.
10975.
Yeah, 10,975.
Okay.
Next is Decoy. 7,994.
Okay.
And then, Pinot Noir is probably higher because we switched it over. So the Steelhead is 797.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's like this. Something like this. Make it a little easier to read. Okay.
And then by the bottle, Malbec was number 1, 302. Sauvignon Blanc. That is.
Sorry.
Sauvignon Blanc. I'm sorry. My fault. Malbec's after.
Company.
302.
And the Sauvignon Blanc by the bottle is different than the one you're on by the glass? Or the same?
No, it's
No,
the
it
same.
was the same one. Yeah.
And which one is that?
The La Petite.
Alright. And Malbec was second.
Yep.
Yeah.
Close the soap. 144. Oh no. Sorry.
255.
This. 255.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then the Kim Crawford was 214.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Kim Crawford.
K or C? C.
Don't mess around over there.
Can we see?
Park it up top.
That's a lot of wine.
Drink.
244.
That was
We're bringing our own
214.
drinks though.
Oh, that's what that is.
Oh, that's right.
The Sauvignon Blanc is probably.
And 75% were shift drinks.
And then what was your total sales
For the year,
for the year?
5,353.
750.
755,353.
Holy
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wine.
That's yeah. That's.
That's a lot of staff.
Okay.
That's total wine.
What's
Yeah.
And let's see. Let's do a little quick math on this too.
And how many wines by the glass do you offer?
6.
And bottles? How many bottles?
How many bottles do we have?
13.
Okay, all right. Interesting.
You got a percentage?
So if you're running, let's just say you're running 25% cost on your wine, that puts $567,750 to the bottom line, or helps cover other areas where you're coming up short. So that's pretty amazing.
It's a significant number for sure.
Yeah, it's a big number, right? So if you sell, if you increase 10%, right, another 70,000 in sales.
And to be honest with us, I feel like we leave too much on the table with our wine. I feel like we can shrink it.
I think what's interesting about that list is that your price points are different, right? So your Sauvignon Blanc, which is the biggest mover, which is I would assume is going to be probably pretty standard for our restaurants, has a nice price point for a bar customer to come in and drink a few of them.
Very
And the Decoy is a little bit more pricey, but it's got a great name, and I think you guys sell it at a really good price. But so you're able to convert, you're able to get more spend per glass when there's a perceived value or when there's a nice name attached to it. And I think the same can be said there for like Kim Crawford, right? Like,
I feel like the Kim Crawford Decoy is the most where you have the customer actually saying it to you.
Yep.
versus what them see.
Yeah, I don't, you know, like Kim Crawford, it's a very specific style of wine, specific palate. But it's got that name, everyone knows it. So there's an area there on those two wines in particular, maybe to move the needle slightly, because you already have a built-in customer that's inclined to pay for it, because they know the name, they trust the value of it. And I think you guys are selling those at already at value prices. We're looking to just squeeze a couple more bucks and not take advantage. Maybe areas to move it. You guys know your crowd better than I do, but it's possible. Or there's areas to introduce like brands that are similar there to move your needle on your overall by the bottle offerings. Put some more name recognition wines on your bottle list that are priced in that, say, if it's Kim Crawford, I don't know, where you sell it, at $65 a bottle, $60, I don't know off the top of my head.
Kim Crawford's, yeah.
So if that's your sweet spot, maybe you throw on a couple more name wines that you're getting at like $10, $11 purchase price. And you're throwing them on your list between that $60 and $70. So you're getting a better COGS off it. You're getting a couple extra $5 on sales. And maybe you're getting more wines by the bottle. So there's opportunity there. That tells you a lot about your customer. Just that right there.
We're redoing our cocktail and the menu right now. We did the food price increases. So we kind of want to stagger it. And that's
of
what
course,
we're
yeah.
doing
Just
next. But yeah.
throwing it out there, like, because you have a very typical drink, you have a very typical wine drinker. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Matt.
So by the glass, I actually broke it into red and white, but the number one seller was Belarus Rosé.
Okay.
Number two was Valdo Prosecco.
Did you have a number on that?
Yeah, give me just a sec. You want items sold?
Well, for glasses, this number was
Yeah, it's items sold.
number of
That was
glasses
the number
sold.
of glasses, yeah.
Okay, it was 10,716.
The
Okay.
Prosecco was 10,503.
Okay.
And then the Pajot, P-A-J-O-T, 7,482.
Which is 701. So all light wines.
Yep. Our top selling red by the glass was the McMurray Pinot Noir. We sold 4,130 of those. So by the bottle, La Marca Prosecco.
Roof.
We sold 815. Next was In Good Co Rosé.
Wow.
566.
There we go.
White heavy on the road.
And then the next was Vivite Rosé.
I'm not going to even try to spell it.
Vievite. 461. Yes.
Wow.
That is not counting the rosé. So our total wine sales for 2017 was 1,369,346.
About $1 for every glass of wine.
Sure, that doesn't include like the portion of the banquets, right? So
Right.
Just straight up.
And I mean, that's like, to be frank about it, that's all bullshit sales. I mean, that's Prosecco. I want a rosé. Like that's no work. That just walks in and kind of flops itself on the table.
Now, you say inflation.
Huh?
That's really within his numbers.
So before we even
Like what is it?
So,
It's under steel.
before we even dive into this,
Pinot Noir, I would
look at
think.
that Prosecco number, right? And that's why all the wine reps are like, I want your Prosecco, I want your Prosecco. And my answer, or my next question is, well, what are you gonna do? Like, what do you got? Where are we going with this thing? It's not, you can't just say, oh, Matt, you're a nice guy, I'm gonna put your Prosecco on. There's a lot of opportunity with that. That's a huge number. So
It's a huge margin number too. I mean, probably
huge margin number. So it's great to like, oh, so and so's a nice guy, let's throw his Prosecco on. All right, or let's find the most profitable with integrity in the product, Prosecco, put that on, and maybe they'll, you know, throw a party, you know, or celebrating Ernesto's birthday, whatever it is.
I say the rooftop also has an advantage because right here you're seeing really rosé and prosecco, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have an advantage to really focus in on those two and hone in on those two, and get staff really caught up and trained on those particular types of wines, and go after the upsell.
Right.
Because like you said, it's very easy. I want prosecco. Okay, here's a prosecco. Rather than, well, this is a great prosecco, but I just want to let you know we have an unbelievable one. I don't know if you've ever had, especially for anniversaries and birthdays.
Absolutely.
It's a perfect opportunity to upsell.
Well, and we are trying, the wine list over there is evolving. So we are trying to handcuff items so that there are those easy upsells for every varietal that we have. So that, I mean, because it is a high volume place and people are zipping around, we want to make it really quick. Oh, you want Prosecco? We'll try the Pomeranian. You know, it's blah, blah, blah.
And that's where you know, train the trainer comes into play, and that's where your pre-shifts come into play, and just being, as Mike said, being annoying and saying it every single day until it cements into their brain that every time that somebody asks for a bottle of Prosecco, the power suggestion, you could try. It may not work, but at least you try. Awesome.
Sorry, another thing that's very important on the roof is as your volume pops up, is how do you stay ahead of service? And allowing that much individual glass of wine experience is very detrimental to service. So any of those individual glass of wine experiences you can convert to bottle is enhancing the experience for every single person in that venue. Not just the person at those people that you're providing that bottle to at that table, but it's helping out everybody in the venue, your staff most of all. So huge, you know, push for converting people into bottles, because that bottle, you know, you guys have those nice stands that sit next to the table, looks good, you can pour yourself, you can, you know, not to wait for your server to come back on a hot day, you know, when you're thirsty and you want to bang back that glass, it's frustrating to wait for that server to come back. It's a huge opportunity, especially on those ones that you've got listed there, right? Prosecco, and I'm shocked that our in Good Co wine and GBT numbers aren't higher.
Yeah. I think the higher.
You know, if it's even combined, I figured we'd sell more bottles of rosé on the rooftop. That's very low for me, actually, the volume you guys do up there.
That's a great point, though, Rob. All right, trademark.
So for our top selling 3 glasses, the IGC cab came in number 1, 1509.
That's great.
Fleur de Cap Sauvignon Blanc is number 2 at 1472. And Coloris de Sauvignon number 3 at 1092.
Sorry, what was it?
Coloris. I think you contributed to that.
Okay. And you've only had it for
Yeah, like 92 of those classes are Malbec.
Well, I mixed the numbers, so the previous not
Okay.
The wine sales for the entire year is 356,371. And by comparison, I found this number interesting. Our liquor sales for the whole year is at 392,000. So
Wow.
we're really not far off at all. So it shows you how much wine we're selling.
Okay, and then did you have bottles?
Yes, top selling bottles are IGC CAD, 163. And now that's at number 2 at 152. And the Sauvignon Blanc at 3, 135.
PQ, I might have to go to the second board. All right, so we got some red wine drinkers. But I mean, it makes sense, right? Because trademark rooftop, you're up in the air, the sunlight. You got, you know, the Empire State Building. It's bubbly. It's light. So, you know,
Our
where
heavier entrees,
Correct. More culinary focused.
More rich. Yeah.
You don't have natural light coming into the venue,
No.
which speaks to lighter wines, so that contributes. You've lately been putting out your more luxury bottles, like a
Reserve
specific
bottles,
menu, your
yeah.
reserve bottles on the table. Have you found any success by doing that?
Valentine's Day. And since
Really?
Valentine's Day, we moved 6 bottles off the reserve list.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
That's awesome.
That was a main point of focus for our staff last week, so.
Who sold, it was Alyssa that sold the Bell Gloss, who sold the Bell?
Kenny sold the Bell Gloss.
Oh, Kenny.
Great. Jess Beck sold the bottles of Ndavi Maestro.
Do you think that they suggested it?
They
Were
did, yeah, it was like we pre-shifted it. It was
amazing.
awesome.
And what, just for the record, what was the pre-shift? Like, what was the, when you say you were pre-shifting, what were you saying to them that got them to sell 6
It was
bottles?
tasting notes, but we tried to incentivize them a little bit too with, $25 IGC gift cards. But we shared, even if we had to look it up, we found stories about the wine, just something quick that they could give the staff. For the Ndavi Maestro, we found out that Robert Ndavi had this reserve Cabernet in bottles, and he was a classical music fan, so he conducted the California Philharmonic that night. So his friend said, you have to call that Cabernet the Maestro. So
Very cool.
just anything that they could, latch on.
People really latch on to stories.
They
You can
like
tell them
those,
anything
like,
about a
big
bottle.
quirky stories
This
much
one's
better
named
than,
after
like,
a
boring
daughter,
tasting
and
notes.
whatever. Like people really,
Yeah.
if they feel like they have a connection, they're much more
Right.
likely to say like, sure, let's try it.
I mean, it's funny, but there's even a story in the IGC wine, right? There's a story behind that and how it started. The company, you can relate to the company, Sean Dillon.
Crush the grapes
Tyler Drinkwater.
2 times a year.
Sell wine.
That's good stuff. Like stories, anything connects the dots.
Yeah.
You can even Google it.
Yeah. And to be honest, Google,
Google was the guy who started it. He went to my high school, and then he made his money in tech in Silicon Valley, and then bought a farm and started,
Losing his money.
raising grapes for Noir. Now he's got this critically named Pinot Noirs, but it was always a good tie-in. Like the servers at Park Avenue always did a good job of converting that into sales, because it was like, hey, local high school, Regis High School, this guy went to Regis High School, one of our owners went to Regis High
It's
School.
also good.
It was also really good, yeah.
Like, so that was a home run on
It was good price.
and fully incentivized. You guys, everyone in this room has power. Like, Chris, you can be working the roof one night and just be like, yo, we're gonna run a contest on XYZ, give them the information, empower them, and then the prize can be whatever you want. If you want to do a shift meal, you want to, whatever it is, do it. Like, just get them excited about stuff to break up the mundane Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Just have fun with it. And we can just target one wine. Or if he's Rankin tells you, yo, we're sitting on 45 cases of, yeah, LeBlanc.
By the way, we're sitting on 45 cases.
Have you considered doing a bottle on the bottle?
We're getting there.
Brazilian wine.
But you guys, everyone in this room is empowered. It can be what your shift, and you want to try to get them to sell a high-end bottle or run through something by the glass, go for it.
The bingo cards you guys use are awesome.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, we do bingo.
Sure.
Mike makes up bingo cards. We haven't done them in a while, but we're definitely going to bring them back. And it'll be a couple of menu items, a couple of bottles of wine, and if you get which bingo, you get a free staff meal.
It's great.
And they love it. Monday nights was a big night for
So
them.
you just randomly pick.
Yeah, like we did on Monday nights as a little slower dinner service, so you can kind of focus on, you're not running around as much.
Right.
You don't want people at the POS stands like trying to, make the bingo cards. But yeah, we try to put specials on there. We try to put bottles of wine on there. We'd make it so if you get a bingo wine, you sold an entree, you sold a bottle of wine, so you sold some money items. So, and then we just did a free staff meal if you got it. And Mondays I got into it.
We would run longer wine contests as well, like month-long ones that we would track.
How many, right? Who sold the
Yeah,
most?
like every night, however many they got. Yeah, we had points. So under a certain amount was 1 point, and then like it was like anything under 60 was 1 point, 65 to 85 was 2 points. Anything above $90 was 3 points. And we'd run it for a month, and like the winner would get something like $100 and a bottle of wine, something like that. Like that worked really well for a while. Like you have to change it up. You can't keep doing the same thing because then the same people rise to the top, and then the other people stop trying. But it does work to do it a couple times a year, run it for a month, especially during like we ran it a lot during high volume times where you know there's money to be had. You're just trying to get every bit you can off the table. It I mean, $100 and like $100 bottle of wine, people will sell you a lot of wine. They really do.
Cool. What do you got, Chris? Oh, I'm sorry, Rob. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so, all right, so I look at the trademark numbers and I see this is a wine restaurant. So for hiring, I know we always can't have, you know, the pick of the litter every single time, but if your first training is hiring, you gotta be hiring people with some wine knowledge. And it's gotta be a really big focus of the training program there is wine knowledge. And then I think as far as like purchasing and offerings, I'd be curious to see how you guys would do with a Corbin specialist. Getting those people in there, having a dining experience, and Matt's having a ton of success on the roof with the Corbin on selling a $25 bottle, $25 glass of wine, and we're looking to move the needle on sales with Trademark. I think Trademark has to focus on their pricing for, stop being so worried about value pricing on your by the glass, and move the needle on your by the glass offerings so you can raise the prices there a little bit, and then maybe introduce 1 or 2 Corbin. Now you don't have a ton of volume, but if that Corbin can make a bottle last for a week or whatever it's supposed to, you get a $25 glass of wine sale there as opposed to a $14 bottle. I mean, you guys know the venue.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I agree with everything you said, but we also find that the more expensive bottles are not moving as much.
No, I'm not even saying bottle, but it seems like, look at those by the glass, right? I'm not even talking about the bottles. Everyone's in there for a glass of wine. Not nearly as many people are in there for a bottle of wine.
And
So
you gotta- the thing
move
with-
the needle in your training and your offerings on your by the glass. I mean, that sales number is incredible for wine. You know, not a huge volume. It's a lot of female drinkers. You know, a female drinker in Manhattan, the clientele that we get in Midtown, they've got money, right? But they may only want 2 or 3 glasses of wine. They don't spend. You know, we used to go those groups go up through Park Avenue Tavern and the Rooftop and Parker and Quinn, where these women sit down and crush 6 $80 bottles of wine over and over and over. So that you guys get the same clientele. I think that's a huge opportunity for hiring, training, and building your wine list around what that is. If you're getting 50% or 50 cents or $1 off of every single glass of wine, holy shit, your cost of goods drops significantly.
Do you think it makes sense to mimic the prisoner serve on the roof there?
100%. I think the thing you got to remember, especially in a place like that too, with a bunch of business diners and business travelers who are coming in, they're often singles. They're not doing a bottle, but they are going to come in and have the steak. And then you can tell it's IGC cab. That actually tells me it's probably a lot of men getting glasses of cab. They typically are going to drink the bigger, rounder, heavier wine.
That's right.
And if that guy has a chance where he's like, I only want 1 glass, but I'm having this really big steak, that's the best thing he's got. If you offer him a $22 or a $24 glass,
I'll buy it.
maybe he's like, I'm going to have 1 glass of that, you know, and enjoy it, and you get that way better markup, way better margin.
I've been thinking, Trademark, like, I mean, on the roof, we don't have the culinary to support like these massive cabs, but Trademark does have the menu, so you could do.
Again, Artemis or, you know, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, like
Yeah,
a
we
really.
have a lot of big cabs.
But that's the easy upsell, is like when they order the steak, you go, you should really switch to this glass. You know, that's like a little upsell from the
We already
IGC
know how to
cab.
do this too. I think this one is the most effort we've looked for the off-the-shelf thing. We've damn near moved through a case of scotch in what, 4 days? Just by having like a pointed, curated, well-communicated offer. So if we had like sort of an off-the-shelf, to borrow the phrase, like red wine,
But also with that story on Copper Girl, I think it's one of those things also that's pretty big, because that holds you.
yeah, it helps. But again, we told somebody that story. We told our staff that story. We just told each other that story. Interesting.
nuts. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, I hear it's worth a shot.
I mean, the best part about it is there's really no investment, right? I mean, you just
Yeah.
get the thing and start, pick a new wine every day and see
You
what
talking
sticks.
about the nitrogen?
Yeah, or
It's awesome. It's great. We could open up some of the big boys and, you know, let's instead of trying to make 3x, let's just try to at least get our money back plus a little, but it creates some buzz and excitement. It's an awesome idea.
Did you find like a way to like mask the gaskets behind like the actual tanks?
Yeah, you just hide it.
You put things
Oh,
in.
but like if someone goes out to dinner and they spend $20,
No, I was messing with you, but
No,
we
I know, but
literally
I'm serious.
we hid it behind the barrels on the roof. It's strategic placement of the bottle in the bar somewhere. We were talking about doing like putting the canister in a barrel, like still messing around with it. So any idea is great. Let's try it.
We could build the tap into a wine box, so it's like tapping out a wine box.
Yeah.
You could also tell the customer what it is.
I was gonna say,
right? Just be
honestly, I
honest
think
with it.
nitrogen is the selling point.
Yeah,
100%.
we keep this
100%.
True story.
It's the
I would
freshest
be
wine
like
you
that.
can
Just
Yeah.
for an extra $10, I'll let
Oh,
you.
you were just at Capitol Grill, right?
I was.
Do they have, in DC, do they do the same, Capitol Grill in New York, they've got like $90 glasses of wine. Available.
They did not. They
All,
didn't
it's
have
the
it.
same, what they offer by the glass there, it's all through the Corvin or the nitrogen system, and they tell you, right, you know, whatever they say, it's like, you know, nitrogen assisted wines or Corvin
Yeah.
wines, and they tell, it's a whole page on their menu, you go in there, and you're like, holy shit, I can get a bottle of Joseph, one glass of Joseph Phelps and say, yeah, absolutely, let's do it,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's the thing, like people who know what it is are gonna be fine with it, and people who don't are gonna be like, wow, that's fascinating. You know, this oxygen replacement and all that. You're gonna be educating them. They're gonna think it's cool, and maybe you gotta sell just off that. Like I've never had a glass like that. I'm gonna
And
try it.
just while we're on this, Meg, how long does a bottle of wine last once you're on it? Do you think?
Around May.
Around me.
45 minutes.
No,
Okay,
like
let's say you're not drinking the wine, it's in the restaurant, but what's kind of the shelf life on an open bottle of wine?
well, we don't. If we open a bottle of wine downstairs and it's not being poured, we bring it upstairs. So I would say like a day or two.
Okay, that's great. What do you think?
It still drives me.
They're actually doing it last week.
4 to 5 days.
What do you think, Miles?
Say 4 to 5 days.
So your target is 3. That's right, like the Mendoza line. So definitely go in and you buy the glass and just try them all. Just make sure that like they're, but that the nitrogen makes it last for a month,
Wow.
Yeah.
which is awesome, right?
That's
So
sick.
you have a month to sell just a bottle of Cabernet.
And that's the thing. That's what you're saying. Like even if it's not like you're gonna sell maybe a dozen a night, but it's okay. Like you got a long time to sell one bottle.
Yeah.
So you only need somebody, like one a week, one guy a week who's like, let's do that.
But really keep an eye on your stuff that's not on nitrogen and try it. Make sure that it's still good. So you'll know when it's not.
The last thing started dating.
You did? That's great.
The last thing for you, Brendan, is that your wine pours are gonna be on point. Every quarter ounce out the door with that volume.
Yeah.
That's
If you
true.
have 5 ounce wine pours on the spot every day, you'll even see, I think that needle move a little bit.
That's true. That's 6 ounces each time will kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
volume, that's an incredible
That
volume.
adds up.
And we'll do a pour later, so you guys will all get to practice. All right, Chris, what do you got?
All right, so our glasses, La Petite Sauv Blanc is our number 1.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is, right? In the bar.
It's so.
8,818.
And in 7 years, never ever had a complaint in any venue over that one.
Yeah, that's why we have it.
Sick.
Okay.
Then the Row 11 Pinot Noir, which actually surprised me.
Row 11.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. 5,585.
How many were compliments of separate?
Not as many
That
as you
might have
think.
helped us.
Not as many as you think.
4,200.
And then the Monterey Chardonnay, 4,614. You see, there's a big drop off from like the number 1 to the next 2, but there's probably like 4 more glasses right below that number, right, all in the like 4,500 range.
Okay.
So It's a lot, because we have probably 14 glasses.
Those glasses that are
So
rated under,
there's
are they,
There's a lot of wine by the glass. It's not
Okay.
shown on there.
but like, were they any particular grape, like?
No, it was a mix. It's a mix. It's a mix.
Okay.
I think the next one was actually IGC cab, but I don't remember the exact number. On bottles, Sancerre was number 1. Yeah, we saw a lot of Sancerre.
It's nice
it's
to
a
say.
price point. It's a quality level and a price point where I think it appeals to a lot of people. 179 bottles.
Okay.
The Tikal Malbec. Same thing. It's a price point and desirability. 164. And then the white cab is 159. And again, we probably have another dozen bottles somewhere in that range.
Okay. And then what were your total sales?
$818,131.10. Put that 10 cents on.
You sure about 10 cents?
Let's not make sure we get it.
all counts.
Price is right rules.
Yeah. Can't be over.
So much higher on the glasses by the glass than trademark, but what I find interesting is this number and this number being so close to each other when you have a venue that's really almost, I mean, a size and a half bigger than trademark.
Again, it comes down to, I think, like I say, they have how many bottles do you offer? I mean, it's similar to them. They were saying they have like 13 bottles that they offer, whereas we have probably 40 something. So you end up with a lot wider
A lot of variety.
because they have less choices. So they're going to pick the same bottle.
Right, right.
We have like a
I
lot.
guess
of
you'd have to
bottles
kind
in
of
the
look at
same
like total
range.
bottle sales
Yeah, it's
or total bottles sold.
yeah, we have a large variety, which is I don't know, maybe helpful, maybe not.
So a little over $2 million in sales in wines. That's a really significant number company-wide. That's pretty staggering when you think about it.
As a group too, that's a lot of power for purchasing, leveraging relationships, all that stuff, so that's great.
Where are the tickets?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to the Super Bowl.
So Chris, like, you have a pretty good pulse on it.
Gary's got it all.
Gary's got it, boss.
Gary's going. Where do you think Parker and Quinn can improve in that number?
100%. I think it's upselling.
That's a great hit.
All 3 of those bottles, like I mean, I think it's natural to end up toward the bottom of the list, but all 3 of those bottles are toward the lower of the price range. I think there's definitely a lot of room for selling things that are at the top or in the middle. It used to be, I think our sweet spot used to be right at $85, $90. We'd sell a lot of those bottles. I don't feel like I see as many going out as they used to, and I think some of that is a little laziness on the staff, like just letting people order and not pushing them. Because a lot of people are going to say, I'll take the white cab, and you could push them up $15, $20 if you gave them a story like, listen, that's a good bottle, but have you ever had this, blah, 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 and then you give them a story. You can get $15. You're not going to sell them. Someone who orders the Wyatt is not going to get the insignia, but that's okay. Like, you don't have to sell the insignia to everyone. But then again, someone who's ordering the Silver Oak, you might be able to push to the insignia. I think that's the thing. Like, I think oftentimes staff are too easy to accept whatever the order is, instead of saying, that's a great bottle, good choice, but have you ever had, or do you know about, and you push them up just a tiny bit. And if you push up everybody $10, $15 or more,
Sure.
it adds up a lot over time. I think we started, like I say, getting reps in. We used to do that a lot more frequently, and I think it always disappears in the busy months. And now we're getting back on top of having these guys come in, because honestly, the weeks that you teach them about a wine, you see that wine go out, because everyone, like you say, it's confidence. They're like, oh, I know about that one bottle, so I'm going to tell someone about it.
Yeah.
So the more that you bring these guys in,
Yeah.
have them taste. Also, I mean, tasting the wines.
Sure.
Right, like it's hard. Probably we should open bottles ourselves more often. But getting the reps to do it, they bring a bottle, so it's even better. Bring them in. They tell you specific tasting notes. They bring a bottle to open. They'll bring in that Quintessa's, it's an expensive bottle. It's gonna be like $400 on the list.
Sure.
They pay for it. They taste the staff on it. And a lot of these guys will incentivize also. They'll say, if you have anyone who'll sell 15 bottles over the month, we'll give them a magnet, you know, so they give you prizes to give away.
I was gonna say the same thing. I've also, for small things, you can hit them up for wine openers. We've done that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I think also I've noticed on certain days, because I close on there mostly in the evenings. I tell you on a Sunday night, I've seen more $80, $90 bottles go out than a Thursday night.
For
Do you
sure.
think that has something to do with it?
Sorry, say again?
I've noticed the different, like Saturdays and Sundays are completely different guests compared to
Yeah.
weekdays.
Those are
And on the
dinner
weekends,
Those are diners,
I
yeah.
see more of that higher priced bottle one. There's definitely slower pace in the actual venue, and also the actual clientele. Like we'll get the hotel foreigners, and I think the staff is good at selling or pitching those. So I see those $80, $90 bottles go out on maybe a Sunday night or Saturday night,
Right.
as opposed to like a Thursday night.
Thursday night too. One of
With
the
the after
disadvantages
work
of Park is that Partner Quinn is that it's so loud.
Yeah, the volume
Yeah.
It's
does
so
make
loud, so you don't
intimate
have that same
selling a
opportunity to
challenge.
sell. Where on a Sunday night you have.
And I've had guests come back Sunday nights and say, this is a completely different venue from
Sure.
when I couldn't get a table Thursday night and I came back tonight.
And afford your staff the time to talk about it.
Yeah,
And
they're
Yeah.
not
open
running,
that
they're not
dialogue.
pushing through crowds.
So what do you think are some clever ways to get past that, right? So like we have this situation where we still want to be able to upsell, but we know that it's loud. We know that the staff is, because you're one of the higher volume restaurants in Midtown, that they don't have the time. So do you think putting a menu on the table with some descriptions would help? I mean, we have it, but like a more detailed menu that focuses on.
Sometimes, I think sometimes the advantage is to actually focus on the nights that are ripe for selling and not push it on nights where it's not going to happen. Like for one thing, on Thursdays we have more volume, so I'd rather turn. So maybe I'm not trying to convince people to sit for 2.5, 3 hours and enjoy a luxury bottle of wine. I'd rather them hit 4 cocktails and get out.
But if somebody's already ordering a bottle to upsell
I
to
hear
that
you,
other
yeah.
bottle, that's not changing. That's not
Yeah.
changing the turn.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
that's-
just have like right up like a pre-made card that has like if you order the Chardonnay, be like get this one instead. Like something that's already just part of their thing they don't have to think about.
Or you could have like the wine trigger, where you pick 3 popular bottles, which we know
Yeah.
are these 3, and when somebody orders them, the staff is triggered to
Yeah.
sell a predetermined bottle that you guys set up, whatever that is, even if it's a $10
I agree.
upgrade.
I think a lot of it comes down to that education and having them learn bottles, just like you say, like having in their pocket. You can't have the whole list, but you don't need the whole list. You just need a handful that you feel comfortable and that you know you're going to try to upsell each time.
Sure.
You could just have them automatically like, hey, welcome to Partner and Quinn. Da. Do you want to start off? We have an excellent bottle of Insignia, whatever it is, or we have a great whatever Chardonnay, and you just go with red and white and already just get them thinking about it. They might just go, oh yeah, I love that wine. And you can just open with that, see what happens. Sometimes people just go yes, right?
Our suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sell me anything, that's me. I'm the worst class.
She was nodding her head when I said Insignia. She was like, yes.
I would really actually like to sell your bottle and take
Ross, you have anything on this?
Yeah, I got a lot. I think I've heard the same, like a few things going around at like the story, right? The story really helps make the staff feel comfortable when there's a story. So what are we doing as a team to kind of create that story? Like Brendan did some research on his own, created a story. Chris has brought in a few wine vendors lately that are going to tell the story how they want it told. But how can we create more stories? And we don't want to give them 15 stories because then there's no story. So how can, maybe creating 2 to 3 stories in very popular varietals. Obviously, we've identified Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet, Rosé, and Malbec as areas where we can create stories. Prosecco, possibly on the rooftop, if we end up bringing in like, $125 bottle of Prosecco, like, a grower champagne Prosecco, instead of like a mass marketed. Maybe there's a story there, we can convert people. So let's find some areas where we can create 1 to 2 stories, maybe 3 stories max. If we were realizing that our average price point on bottles is say $60-65, and let's not get too greedy. Let's make it one story at 80 and one story at like 90 or 100. Or depending on the venues, maybe you guys know better than I where you think you can move that needle, but you know, Parker and Quinn, you can move it to about 80, 90 pretty easily. Park Avenue Tavern, you know, maybe it's not so much opportunity every day to move that, but create those stories where you're going to have success. Because if a server gets success off this technique, it's going to make them enthusiastic. So you don't want to say, let's create a story about Joseph Phelps' insignia, and I'm going to sell $350 wine every night, and I'm wasting my breath, and it's going to demoralize it. Create that story. Use trainings and pre-shifts to help create that story. We also, Tina mentioned something great, is profiling guests, where different nights, if you're seeing a different clientele and they seem more apt to suggestive selling, in this particular case wine, then perhaps that's telling you that if Deb is my best seller, Deb is my best server, or Link is my best server, or Oscar is my best server for selling wine, and I have the guests that are coming in that night who are most inclined to drink wine. Why do I have Oscar not working on the night where I'm going to make the most wine sales? Why do I not have Deb working on the night where I'm going to make the most wine sales? Like, let's target our staff that's going to be going to get the most out of that segment. I think that's something we can look into. One thing that just popped in my head is I recall when we first did the wine list at Parker and Quinn, where we had really, really cool wine description. We had a really cool wine menu. We never really got, he only got to play maybe like 3 months, where it was like, I forget the header. The headers weren't, we broke out our wine list into like, you know, light and, you know, whatever. Maybe there's a way we can present our wine list and create our wine lists. We can go back to the drawing board on how we present our wine list, where it makes it more fun and more engaging for the guest, and there's already some verbiage in place where it's going to guide them into different segments of the, you know, and it, you know, we've had some success on the roof. We're making, and maybe other venues also, where we get like sort of a theme to the cocktail list, where we did cars, whatever. We've done telenovelas. We've done different things. Maybe there's a way you could use fun verbiage in a wine list, or make it more fun and attractive and pop a little bit more, where people don't just put it down right off the bat. Fuck wine list, I'm not interested. Holy shit, fucking, you know, Dazed and Confused and Days of Our Lives, or whatever you want to put on it. Like Dazed and Confused, I never said it. See, I want a fucking bottle of wine that's gonna get me dazed and confused. Whatever it is, it's popped in my head. But you know, that's a fun way. And we have restaurants with a young, fun demographic. Like, let's play into that. I think that maybe there's and then the last thing is you know, obviously I think it's come up a bunch of times too. Knowledge is power, right? If you're not confident in opening up a bottle of wine, then you're really going to not suggest it. And if you're not confident about knowing how to, you know, walk someone up the row, you know, up the list from row 11 to Belpont to, you know, a French Burgundy, there's no way you're going to get those people to make those sales. So that's, you know, quick thoughts.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I know the way my brain works, like especially when I think about spirits, you can kind of like almost store knowledge of that spirit or of that bottle just by knowing why it's called that thing. I mean, back when I was selling a lot of monkey shoulder, I remember like being able to actually, you know, it's called monkey shoulder for a reason. So the story of that bottle is that there in the label. I know it can be kind of difficult to like store all this information on, you know, what's the ABV of the thing, or what's the varietal, and now we want to get into the narrative. But especially the New World wines, things from the United States and South America, definitely African wines too. They're usually named. Decoy has a story, Maestro has a story that can kind of really be a valuable tool in remembering it.
Pretty fascinating stuff. All right, so the next on the list was wine descriptions with food pairings to save on time, because I don't want to keep you here all night. Let's just go around the room and just read off one of the bottles with the description and the pairing that you have. Start with
I mean, for us, you know, for our ribeye, you try to, you know, have them steer towards the Cabernet. You want to make sure, you know, get something heavy, you have a heavy body with it. And then for our brick chicken, we try to stick with a Chardonnay. You wouldn't want to suggest a Pinot Grigio because you wouldn't, that wouldn't really blend too much, bounce it out too much. So you want some bigger wine to kind of balance out the dish.
Do you have a particular Cabernet that you push for the ribeyes, or is it just more suggestive of the type of wine?
It's more just suggestive for the Cabernet, just in general. The decoy is, I know we sell by the glass, but it is one of our better bottles, so we try to push that because, kind of like Rob was saying, you push that, you're going to have more people go for that versus where you're going to get frustrated with not being able to push wine. So we go with decoy, I think it's usually when people are going to drink that.
Like, I've never really worked in a wine-focused restaurant, but is saying like, is it better to say, like, and maybe you might be able to answer this question, is it better to say a Cabernet when somebody orders a ribeye, or name the particular Cabernet for the sell?
I mean, I would probably pick a specific bottle if I'm trying to sell a specific bottle, rather than just a cab. I mean, I think usually we ask guests a little bit about what the flavor profile they like, and then pick something that we think fits that. Maybe offer 2 bottles. Oftentimes, what I always tell the servers is to pick 2 choices: one that's in most people's comfort zone price-wise, and then one that you want a little bit higher, and suggest those 2 bottles in particular, so that if they want to, they can take the easy way out at the lower price range, but maybe they take your suggestion and take the higher price one.
And we carry Faithful Hound too, which is a blend, and since we added that last change, it's done very well, so it's kind of like an alternative where you can put
Perfect.
that.
We see it moving with the steaks
Yeah.
too.
Well, why is that? Sorry.
The Faithful
Faithful
Hound.
Hound.
It's a blend, so it's kind of like it's been killing it.
I was shocked.
It's probably, ever since we brought that on, it's
Prisoners of Blood too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a trend there for our in-town consumer.
Yeah, people love blends because they're different. They sound interesting.
I think because I think you're uneducated one goes okay. So I think that's what we have.
And then Matt, you guys have, you don't have like the depth of culinary experience on the rooftop, but
Right.
you do have options, right?
Absolutely.
So give us an example of one of these wines that that you had before, a Prosecco or one of the rosés.
With the rosé, most of our culinary comes at lunch. So with a rosé, you could go any one of the salads with the shrimp or the salmon.
Very simple.
It's an easy
Special fish too. I mean, we actually have really great fish specials on the roof for lunch.
Absolutely.
So-
I mean, you could go Malbec with the lamb sandwich.
Sure.
Yeah.
Eat the ribeye with your hands and have a glass of Joseph Carr.
It's great. Brendan, give us an example.
The new guys got stuff up. Cultivate is their Pinot Noir. We did that with the hanger steak. Some of the bigger dishes, some of them are just proteins, and you have other ones that are more combined. So we just did hanger steak on its own. And then for the Florida Cup is our 2017 South African, and we did that with our salmon function. So again, kind of following the same guidelines, whiters with whites, everybody's reds with.
Well, that acidity on the finish cuts the fat of it. Same. It's good part.
So let's say a group orders a bigger bottle of the Cabernet to start their night out. Would that trigger staff, do you think, to suggest? I mean, more than likely they're probably heading towards the ribeye or some type of steak anyway. But does that trigger the staff to kind of like steer them in that direction? Do you think, or is it?
To steer them in the direction culinary was.
Yeah.
When they
Because the drinks are going to be ordered first, right? So you're kind of trying to pair the food.
Following up food.
Right.
To drink.
You're basically upselling in the reverse order.
Right. Yeah, I think so. And
So
those
you
are
have 2 opportunities to
the
upsell.
higher priced entrees as well. So.
And like when I go out to eat, I hate getting bombarded, like upsell on every single turn. It's very annoying to me.
Right.
But if you could subtly on 2 separate occasions, those are 2 easy sells, and you really don't, we're not looking for people to upsell desserts or anything like that. But I think those are 2 perfect opportunities, right? Upsell the bottle and then upsell the menu item. Cool. Who wants to sell a bottle of wine? Anybody want to volunteer? Are we gonna have to do? Are we gonna have to draw? Very simple, right? I mean, just I could be the customer, and I'm somebody. Tina, you want to sell me?
Perfect. Thank
Come
you
on.
so much, Tina. Thank you for volunteering.
You were next to me. I'm sorry.
I'm like the
Who's
worst
going about the right
salesperson. I'm the one who would buy
Okay,
anything,
so
but I'm not the
where
one
is
to push.
Okay, let's say.
All right, Tina, what's a wine you're familiar with on your Parker Quinn list?
Row 11.
Row 11.
So why don't you sell Stephen?
Because I
I'm gonna
we
order. I'm gonna
bring it
order.
to the table all the time.
I'm gonna order this, which is $3 a bottle.
Right.
Okay. I'd like to order this bottle.
Okay.
This bottle of Malbec. And you're my server or manager, and you want to sell me a row 11.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, this looks delicious. I'm gonna order this. But you're gonna upsell me the row 11.
The row 11, which is a Pinot Noir.
Oh.
This is a Malbec.
Whatever.
That's all right.
Okay, so we'll.
That's
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
Or vice versa, more like. Wow.
Yeah, I'd like to order this.
Is there a particular reason why?
My friend suggested it. He said it was really good. It's from Argentina. I've never been there, and I wanted to try to experience Argentina through my salivating glands. I heard that great nightlife.
Creep at table 12.
We got an hour.
Maybe we should get a mail over here. Okay.
86.
Well, Argentina is a beautiful country and has, but why go so abroad when you can go to California, which is within the states? You could. I would basically tell them what Row 11 does
Tell
with
me.
the company. So right now, Row 11 has a buyback, a thank you program along with us, which is thanking you for coming back and joining us. And we'd like to start you off and welcome you with tasting of Row
What
11.
is so? Explain to me why I wanted to try this one. What makes row 11 better than this? Why should I? Is this an upgrade? Is this something better, or is it something that you guys have a relationship with?
We definitely have a relationship with him.
So
at the
basically,
moment.
I guess you're on the spot right now, so you're in the hot seat. But basically, we're trying to find an angle on how to upsell from your whatever lower level Pinot Noir to the row 11 Pinot Noir, which is an upgrade. So if I'm ordering this and you want to upsell me, one of the things that you could say is like, oh wow, this is good. I'm glad your friend suggested it, but we have another one. I saw that you ordered
For the taste of.
Sure, I saw that you ordered a chicken dish, and
Right.
this really goes well with chicken, with brick chicken particularly. It's medium,
taste
it's
of
light
it,
and medium
yeah.
bodied. It's a little more medium bodied than the one that you were previously ordered. Something on that level. And then you can you go through your 3 steps that Sean is going to describe. Right?
Yeah, I was
So-
even saying just selling. You can say, yeah, the Row 11, really delicious, lighter Pinot Noir, subtle plum finishes is with a little smoke, whatever your flavor. And you mentioned it's from California, and you can just say, it's actually an upgrade to what you did order. Something you want to give us a try. We can, whatever it is, but as long as you mention a little bit about the wine, so it's always good to know going in like body style, like saying it's a light to
Before you-
medium body. A little bit of plum on the nose, cherry on the finish. It's from California, and honestly, I don't know. Santa Barbara, great area that's producing Pinot Noir right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey,
let's try it.
you can tell me anything about
I'll take it. Considering that we all work in fairly similar, the venues are a little different, but there's a good amount of crossover in the style of food, and that we have a lot of, and we are culinary driven. Like, huge buzzword, versatile.
Yeah.
Rare that 4 people are going to sit down and order the same menu. Our menus aren't even built that way, right? So especially like, Parker Quinn and Park Avenue Tavern, there's lots of appetizers on the menu. People are going to order a few things to share, then they're going to order entrees. They're going to have different tastes going through their mouths throughout their experience. Versatile, food friendly. Doesn't even matter if the wine is versatile or food friendly. If you want to sell a bottle of wine, you say versatile, crowd pleaser, food friendly, you're going to sell it every single time, even if it's not true. Now, obviously there's some big, huge, bold wines that we might have on the menu, Maybe we got some really heavy Chardonnays and some really heavy Cabernets.
No first eye.
So,
That's true, like especially if you have like an 8-top, and they'll
Well,
come in,
spelling class.
one red, one yellow, one red, one white. That's where you can kind of come up with that. So kind of say, just tell
friendly,
you.
crowd pleaser. And then if you get those people who are having a similar experience at the table,
Yeah.
like they sit down, you say, I want that versatile, food-friendly, crowd pleaser wine, and then they order that bottle of wine, and then all of a sudden they order 4 ribeyes. Then your next move is, hey guys, I know we got you started with something versatile, food-friendly. Now you need something bigger, bolder to get through that fat on those ribeyes. Man, our ribeye was written up in New York Magazine, or if you're at Parker Quinn, whatever accolades you want to attach to that. May I suggest, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Your goal is that first bottle they order to be done before they get their entrees. If we're doing our job, that wine's done before they get their entrees.
Well, I have an example here from Sunday, which was an 11 top, and it comes up here. It was actually linked. So their spend actually went to almost 1,000. It was 11 guests. They were like so easygoing. They ended up starting off with glasses of In Good Co. They did go into a few some, and then they started ordering ribeyes, and they started ordering different types of food. All of a sudden, Link ends up selling 2 of the $80 wine bottles. So he went and stepped it up when he noticed like what they liked and where they were kind of like which direction they were going and what they were eating. And then that's when he went. And then he came back with the 2 bottles, which they ended up going for.
The trick is to get that wine
Like,
out
right
of
at
that
the
wine
right.
out of that glass into these glasses on the table.
Right.
And the person who ordered it, trying to leave them hanging.
Yeah.
Meaning like give them the short pour at the end.
Yeah.
So when you're going around refilling, person who ordered the bottle, always give them the short pour. Because they're going to be, motherfucker, I just fucking paid for that wine. Get me another bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it can be a pretty easy into an upsell. I'm not so familiar with Parker and Quinn.
Right?
You're just like, screw me, buddy. There's the glass of the stacks week. No, you're 100%
They're the host.
right.
They're the host of the table, right? If you
Yeah.
were inviting someone to your house and there was 1 glass of wine left and you had a guest, you'd pour it for your guest.
And they've also established themselves as the one who's going to pull that trigger. So they're the one you want
Yeah.
to say we need another bottle.
Yeah. That's
100%.
That is a good point. Servers should be better at topping off the glasses. I think once we pour the initial round, servers tend to just kind of back off and let the guests pour the rest of the bottle, where we can kind of control that destiny and continuously be filling up glasses.
That's a good point. Like you said, we get that table.
If we're filling up that emptier bottle, we could say, would you like me to go ahead and get started on another bottle? We can start to open up another bottle and let it breathe for a little bit.
It's a great.
Some of you guys at Parker and Quinn, some of the better servers, when they go down and grab a bottle for a table of 4 or 5, they grab 2.
Yeah.
They're already anticipating that they're going to make another sale, and they leave that.
Yeah.
You guys have an area in a restaurant where you leave those bottles that they're pretty much anticipating reselling on that same table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony, I think
Restaurants have that
Always,
same
yeah.
same ethics.
They're always
They
thinking
bring
about
that
it.
bottle
They know
up.
they're going to push it.
They
yeah.
know already. They've already in their mind. They've
Yeah.
ordered that table to 2 bottles of wine.
And that confidence is half the reason they do.
Yeah.
Because they go into it thinking like, oh, I'm not selling
That's
wine.
what I was going to say. The more you practice it, the better off you're going to get. So, okay. Should we move on? All right. So we're going to do a blind test of 3 different types of wines, and
I hope it's a
you're going to write down where you think it's from.
Oh.
Okay, and if the price point
Varietal.
of what you're drinking.
Varietal, right? First varietal, where's the price point?
Correct. Okay. So Sean said.
This one's definitely.
Now we can put music
This
down.
one's definitely grape. I smell a lot of grape.
Alright, so let's do this really quick. Before we do that, we're see if everyone can pour a 5-ounce pour. So bring your glass that's related to your venue. Chris, bring your big glass. Don't bring your cheater glass.
But this is the
okay?
one we poured the pour into.
Yeah, but you've got a big glass. So bring your big glass, all right?
I know how to pour the small.
This is ours? No.
Watch.
So the IGC
I brought it just to show signs.
first annual wine 5-ounce pour test. Coming up a little short was Brian. down at 3.5.
Where did you go? Company man.
Company man. And coming in a little heavy was Ernesto with the old 6.6.
I'm going to trademark later.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the channel pour.
And
That's the ruffle bar pour.
Wine is on Ernie tonight. All right.
Donahue, one of our legacy guys, 5.1. Meg, 5.2. And then Chris was at 4.9. And then the rest is all over the place. So you can take a look at the results. But we've done many nights of trademark. You pour the glass with some cranberry juice in it, mark your height, and then just match every single time. Because if we're not perfect, the bartenders aren't even close and they don't give a shit, right? I mean, it's not they don't own the place or they're not managing the place. So let's watch those heavy pours, all right? So get a your glass in your venue, water, splash of cranberry, measure it out to 5 ounces, just leave it right
And I was showing Will in ours with the proper glass, which you didn't allow me to pour out.
Well, I would.
The copper glass, if we just put a pint glass on it's exactly.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So you just
Right.
leave a
The
pint
pints
glass
we do.
right there at the table and you put it next to it, and it's not like having a random weird glass of cranberry.
Yeah.
Great,
on the table.
perfect. Just trust no one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't they're hungover, they're whatever they are. So, all right. So everyone has their wine glass still, right? So we're gonna do a tasting of some wines really quick. A couple things with this. Do you like garbage can? Me too. We got a garbage can if you wanna spit. So. You don't want to rinse your wine glasses with water ever, right? So if we're going wine to wine, you can empty it all the way out, and then you can add more of the new wine on top of the old one. It's not going to kill it. We're looking for.
We can use this direction, sorry.
What's that?
We can use the back of this thread.
Sure. We're looking for body, nose, and taste, or color, smell, and taste. So we're going to pass these around. We'll do the first one here.
We're not guessing the varietal.
What's that?
We're not guessing the varietal.
Oh, yeah, we will, but we got to make this bottle last. So everyone just a small taste and pass it around, all right?
Someone pour for Ernie.
What's that? Yeah. So with the blind tasting, the objective here is to figure out what's the grape,
I'm really perfect.
right? So what is the varietal? What does it smell like to you? What does it taste like to you? And do you think it's a lighter bodied or a fuller bodied?
She's been sick like every morning this week.
It's an easy one.
It is worse in the morning, to be honest.
Of course it is.
Makes it remind
Just saying.
red.
You're not fooling anybody.
No, I bet. No, that would. My father would absolutely kill it.
Those comments earlier.
I already did, but I smell your breath.
Well, first let's look at the body type. So that's
There we
the
go.
best thing you can do is look against something that's white. So you're looking at the actual color of the wine. So
It's red wine.
Yeah.
And what are the things you asked us to identify?
we want to determine, is this a light to full-bodied wine? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? And then what do you think the grape is?
Just gonna measure taste or taste.
We'll do it fairly quickly. Let's see. All right. So first of all, let's just look at color. Do you think this looks like a heavier duty wine or a lighter?
Light.
Lighter, right? It's pretty transparent. It does have some cat urine to it, so it's got there's something going on here. So we're gonna say it's not a Pinot Grigio if you had to guess, but I don't know. What do you smell?
Well, now I smell cat urine.
Great. What do you smell?
Yes.
You want-
Chardonnay.
Hey. Smell
There's
hay.
extra glass.
Yeah, you get extra glass. I don't know if now you get the same thing.
Smells
yeah.
like trouble.
It's okay. But
I got one.
Do you want this? I can't drink.
It's like
No?
Any, yeah.
All right, so
I get hay, slightly.
hay, right? It's like golden, something golden raisins or golden. There's like popcorn, something green apple.
yeah.
All right, what do you taste?
There's some oak.
Some oak.
It's lightly oaked.
it's like apricot.
So
Yeah.
everybody write this down, right? What do you think the grape is? And then, do you think this is a cheap or expensive wine? Like on the scale of, like, let's say 1 to 5. 1 being cheap, 5 being expensive. Where would you rate this? All right, we'll go on to the next one. Okay. Pass that around. Stephen, will you just write for the whites, number 3 was first, number 1 was second. So now you can just do this on your own. What do you smell? What do you see? What grape do you think this is? And how expensive do you think it is?
What's that?
Write that down.
One more. Number 2 is next.
Can I get a?
A dump bucket.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. This was the last one, right?
This is. Okay,
And
so
then-
that was number 3, which.
Mally, what did we say? We
Sorry,
did.
this
There's
is
3
second.
first, 1 second.
Okay, so here's number 2 coming around.
You just
3
mentioned all.
first, 1 second is number 2.
Wait, what?
No, you just don't worry about that.
Okay.
You just go in order. Stephen, you remember.
Mike's gonna be blacking out tonight.
You have a little taste.
Great. Right, so you're looking at the color, take a smell, breathe it in, no wrong answers, take a taste. Never, ever, ever rinse your wine glass with water.
Yeah.
No cheating either, okay? Number 4.
I like this one.
So put it in the other cup.
And try to rate, remember, on like less expensive to fully expensive, right? 1 to 5.
Order or just like in.
Like if you think it's less expensive, you think it's super cheap, number 1. You think it's less cheap, number 2. 3, middle of the road. All right. Everyone had number 4? Wait, there's number 4 got stopped here?
Oh, no, Matt.
Oh, it's 4?
For sure.
Are these all wines that we carry somewhere up in our properties?
I don't know. It's a blind tasting, Will.
Fair enough.
All right, Mally, we're going to start with red number 3.
I can do it.
So remember, dump out, but don't rinse with water. And then we're going reds now. So again, you're looking at the color depth, giving it a smell, giving it a taste.
Pouring together.
Give it a rinse out.
He doesn't know what to put the name.
Whoa.
He doesn't know what to rinse.
Yeah.
Type of country out.
Meg, don't stall. Don't stall the first red.
I did it again? Sorry.
She's already drunk.
I'm not even drinking.
Mally, number 4 is our second red wine.
You do.
You got me on that? 4 is our second red. This is what's known as a power tasting here.
No, it's actually challenging.
Hour with wine.
Starting to mix.
Yeah, they're really
right?
blending in the mouth. I'm like, that tastes like the last one.
Eat have a piece of bread.
And then do cards during the week. Come on, Sean, you know that.
Fix that palate. Don't forget, you gotta rate this. Is this an expensive?
Wait, well, that was my favorite title to
Stephen,
subject
number
to any
1
email I've ever
is
gotten.
our next wine.
Did you watch the videos?
Not yet.
Well, then you don't get what
But still, I still
read the whole thing.
Which video?
I read the whole email, I just didn't watch the videos.
And rate it 1 to 5. Is this an expensive wine? 1 is cheap, 5 is expensive. Yeah, it's a good thing we had Ernesto pouring last, right?
Yeah.
Takes all.
Oh my god, look.
Holy shit. Do you want a bottle of wine by the glass? Great. I got you
Listen,
covered.
let me give you a trade secret.
So you guys got a bottle.
If
Do
you
you need
order by the
glasses, or are you
glass,
just gonna take it right out?
Have you seen those? It's like a plastic glass on top of the
Yeah, and just stick it to the next bottle.
Stephen, number 2 is the last bottle
I'm gonna
of
read this
red.
bread. Thank you.
We're lagging.
I'm getting nothing here.
You're an idiot. Thanks.
I feel like guessing.
What a question mark.
This one's definitely a red. I can tell. Smell the grape.
Might be wine, I'm not stupid.
Mac.
Wait, what?
All right, what was the first wine that went around? Which number was that, Stephen?
3.
Number 3? Okay. All right, so who had, Chris, what did you write about your first wine?
Not around yet. We still have.
Oh, you're still, I'm sorry.
On the very first, I put light plus body.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't realize those 2 are still going.
Yeah, we're still on light plus body.
Who'd we get stuck with? Was that you again, Megan?
No.
No, it's us.
No, let's wait. Let's get through this.
Oh, Jesus.
You're making a power hour with wine right now.
This is I'm writing down.
Vernick was pouring 2 glasses for
Number
Semi-fi Mac.
number doesn't matter on the bottle. It's just the order that they came through. So as long as you're writing them in order.
You gotta do this thing here, guys.
Sorry, I didn't realize you guys were far behind.
These are kicking my ass.
Just put power wine.
Listen, Stevens meetings too.
That's what happens when you take the bus out to the North Fork. They just get you banged up and stick you back on the bus and take you right back. All right.
So fun.
It's like a wine chugging tour, not a wine tasting tour.
Yeah.
No, I can't. My palate.
It's so nasty.
The whites are okay. The one
Oh, the whites, they're all terrible. There's like nothing good out there.
I was like kind of like excited again.
I don't know. The ones I'd go to are horrible.
There's amazing demand.
Go to Worcester.
I must have missed that day.
I went to the wrong place. I must have went on the other side of the tracks.
They're horrible.
So think about this: the North Port has similar climate and soil to like Bordeaux. That's why they
Oh, really?
kill Bordeaux.
That's a good
grapes. Yep. So you got a lot of like Cabernet, Merlot, Petit Syrah, Bordeaux, Cab Franc.
Can we get another glass of wine, please?
One.
Sure.
Got it.
Steven, you want number one of the reds?
Nah.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, one of the reds.
Is that his drink of choice?
No, but
No, it's not.
No,
It's not.
That's not a Malbec.
no, I had to put it as a Malbec.
Oh, okay.
I don't taste anything on the last
Malbec
one. What does it
olive.
taste like? I don't know.
Malik, here you go. Number one.
Oh, yeah. I thought you give me the
I don't like that.
Is this the first red that we tasted?
First red.
I
Yeah.
want to try it again.
Do you know what that is, Matt?
Oh, this wasn't the first one.
No.
This was the third one.
Oh, I thought you wanted bottle number one.
Which is the first red that we tasted?
I did.
Huh?
That's number three.
What was the first red we tasted?
Three.
Number three.
Right? Can I try three?
Okay.
This is confusing. For me.
It's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's you're sober. That's the problem. All right. All right. So Stephen Malley.
Yeah.
The first white wine that we tried was bottle what number?
3.
Okay. So, Chris, the first wine that we tasted. What do you think of it?
I said it was light plus body. I got hay and grapefruit. I guess it was a Chardonnay.
Okay. And what is it? Expensive or cheap?
I put it was like nice, not expensive, medium.
Chris, what do you think of the first one?
I would say, yeah, light to medium body. I thought it was a Chardonnay also. I tasted oak on it.
Okay.
Interesting. Might not that expensive.
I thought it was Chardonnay, and I
Not
thought it was,
expensive.
1 to 5 2.
Okay. So that was Stephen. That was bottle number 3 under the whites, right?
Yep.
So we got a flower Chardonnay,
Well,
right?
good bottle.
Okay. Delicious bottle, right? Yeah. Okay. So Chardonnay was correct. On the expensive scale, it's more expensive. It's not like
I put a 3.
through the top. So yeah.
What'd you put? 2?
Sheet up.
Interesting.
No.
All right.
See ya.
What was the second bottle?
1.
1. All right. So Rankin, what'd you have for the second bottle we tried?
It was a nice golden color with a tinge of green. I had it as an inexpensive Chardonnay.
All right. Ernesto, what'd you have this as?
Slightly green hint, grass and sweeter notes. Maybe like 2.
Did you list what grape you think it is? Very fun. I like it. So I heard Chardonnay. Any other?
I put a Pinot.
I put it Sincere.
Sancerre,
I think it's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc. Okay.
So that's
And it was bottle number 1 was our second one,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Let's see what we got here. It's like Christmas morning here. Florida Cap Chardonnay. So,
The bottle shape.
yeah, but I mean, your Sancerres are the same bottle shape too. So here's what's interesting though. This is not typical Chardonnay,
yeah, that did not taste like Chardonnay.
and where it's from. So it could be thought of something else, but a Chardonnay, right? All right. Third bottle. Kev, what were your notes on the third bottle?
I really wasn't sure. I would
Okay.
probably say more towards the Sancerre. I ranked it a little higher in terms of the scale at a 4. It was just kind of an unfamiliar taste.
Okay. Roll.
I really liked it. I thought it was super round, medium acid, notes of like January club notes, then maybe find more of a Pinot Noir. I kind of took a shot in the dark here. My palate's kind of dying from all the tasting today, but white Burgundy.
Okay.
Put it at 2 to 3.
I put a Pinot as well. With a floral.
Wait, you put a
Yeah.
Grigio?
I put a Pinot, yeah.
Pinot Grigio.
And I put it at a 3.
Mike, what'd you put?
I thought it was Chardonnay.
Okay.
Should
It was bottle number 2, right?
I hated it.
You hated it?
I like that one. French Chardonnay, right?
All right, so I went to the wine store and found the cheapest wine
Oh.
to see just for comparison, and this is the cheapest. So this
I got cheap taste.
my whole the whole point is that it's like this is the price point versus the flowers. But does price point always matter? Absolutely not, right? So this is just the other end of the spectrum. Is it good juice? We like it. Steven did not like it, but I'm saying that you know it's also it's
I like
Called the
it.
Crusher.
I took more.
I didn't like it.
I thought it was like a French Chardonnay.
it's all how we sell it too, right?
I thought
Is it a Chardonnay?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, Pinot Grigio.
It didn't have the oak like the flower.
sell that instead of Florida Cat.
What's the pricing on this?
Great name.
He likes
So I
That's
overpaid.
gross.
I overpaid on 6th Avenue at the wine shop. This was $16, and you know that wine shop's expensive.
Yeah, you
so,
overpaid by a lot.
So it's probably we could probably get it like $4 a bottle. Yeah. No, but it's just interesting that like with wine, there's no rhyme or reason.
There's no answer to that.
Yeah.
What a psalm says is
crusher?
that
The
wine
crusher.
might not translate to your palate.
Correct. So I love it though. And then
What is it? Willow.
Did
and
you
what?
like it?
And that's from California.
no.
Okay, I was just curious.
No. Last bottle. Brendan, what'd you say for the last bottle?
Guys, ready?
I
wrote gross on it.
I thought it was
What'd you have? Sancerre? Okay.
You're like,
What
I would say this
expensive,
one's
cheap?
gross.
It was like one of those where you
Four?
go,
Okay. Steven, last bottle, what did you say it was?
last bottle of white.
Yeah, last bottle of white.
I put a Pinot Grigio. I gave it a 3. I said light-bodied, floral, herbal green.
Okay.
Marlboros.
Ernesto?
Marlboros.
Is it Kim Crawford's?
It's got
Yeah, it has
gotta be a
Kim
Marlboro
Crawford.
someone.
Ernesto, did you say expensive? You said Kim Crawford?
Pure
Gotta be the frenzy, right?
It's the Frenzy. So New Zealand, you guys were onto it. All right.
That one was the one that had the easiest. I was like, okay, this one, I
I love that.
Nothing
I
else.
love that the Crusher had some traction though.
What's the price point on that?
I don't know. What does the Frenzy go for?
It's called the Crusher.
Frenzy's $8.
$8.
Wow.
A bottle.
So it's low.
Yeah, very low.
I went high, too high.
Yeah, Arcos. All right, what's our first red wine out of the gate? Which number was it?
3.
Number 3. All right, so Ernesto, what'd you go for number 3?
I put a heavier body, it was cab,
Okay,
and then price point of 2.
you put a 2. All right, Will.
I thought it was relatively light bodied. I got a lot of that like kind of Argentinian sort of like clay notes from it, so I said some Malbec.
Okay.
I put it a 1.
A 1. Okay. Price point. Tina.
I put it as a cab, but I priced it at 4. And I said it was light
Okay.
on the lighter side.
Mike.
Malbec, and I put it at 2.
All right, let's see what we got here. This is the low-end Cabernet that I found at the wine shop. Also, same thing. This was 15.
Good, right?
15 off the shelf.
I thought it was Malbec also.
Yeah.
He
So-
nailed it over here. He nailed it.
What'd you say?
I said full-bodied gross. Full-bodied and gross on the expression. A cab, and I gave it a 1.
Good job, Allie. All right, what's the next one?
You do drink a lot of wine.
Right? I'm like,
What's the next one?
Next one is 4. Sorry.
Number 4? All right. Kev, what'd you say for number 4?
Velvety, black cherry, I put it right in the middle of number 3.
What grape do you think it is?
Malbec, I don't know.
Okay. Matt.
I said Pinot Noir.
Matt.
That was what I guessed. It was hard. It was a toss-up though.
We're getting to the point where I was just like, It's red.
Yeah.
Next.
I was the most confident
Oh,
in that
that
one.
was-
Okay.
Very thin.
Expense level.
Uh-huh.
I put 2 and it was very like, had the
2?
color of Pinot Noir.
That's roll 11?
4.
Yeah. She's like, that's my
Now roll 11's in front of you.
Cheap California Pinot Noir.
All right, let's see what we got. It's the Steelhead Vineyards North Coast Pinot Noir.
Okay.
All right. What's the next one?
Plus, I knew the cap.
1. All right. Meg, what'd you say for number 1?
The cab and
Okay.
number 2. I didn't taste it. I just.
Brennan? Syrah. Okay. 3. All right. Chris?
Which one is that?
This is the
Third one.
second or third
Third red.
third red.
I put Shiraz.
Okay. Rob?
I had a Cabernet.
Okay. Expensive, cheap?
For me, it had good tannins, smooth, and a long finish, like compared to the other ones. But again, comparing it against like a Pinot Noir and a entry level cab that tastes like Malbec. So I put it at 3. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wowza.
Got cap.
It's funny though. At least I put that the guy said Syrah, and Stag's Leap does a lot of Syrah.
Yeah.
That's like.
Darker, stronger.
But that's like a
So
big,
we should stop
inky-
selling expensive wine.
But that one's not as big as the other one.
Wait, let me taste that one again.
I didn't think that
I just want to double check. I feel like my read was
But that one's not
I'm not
big
sure.
like the
It's a good
ornaments
call.
actually.
I gotta be honest, this tastes different than I recall the Stag's Leap.
Last
That's
one.
not like the ornaments.
Steven, what'd you say for the last one?
Medium Merlot.
Oh, it's the
Medium Merlot.
Yeah, it's not like the
price
the
point.
big ornaments.
3.
IGC cab.
Oh, there it is.
You follow that shot anyway.
All right. So, one other point to this is we did a low end, a medium end, and a high
It's
end.
not the Artemis. Okay.
Low, medium, and high end of one varietal on purpose.
At least it makes sense.
So we did all Chardonnay, we did all Cabernet, and then we threw in a couple other ones just for fun. But you see the difference, right? Like sometimes the cheap stuff was as good as the expensive stuff.
So what was the last one?
Last one was Inga Go Cabernet. It's your favorite.
I thought it was in good color.
had Pinot Noir. I wrote down Pinot Noir.
cheap. I was like, I know this one.
Hey, listen,
But
it's our,
cheap
it's,
doesn't always translate to bad wine. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot
well,
of.
Not
Yeah.
the good news about
case.
good news. There you go.
Right down here.
That's what your tongue
There's your new go-to.
Listen to wrestling. I like wrestling.
The good news is IGC cab is already paid for, so sell the shit out of it. Just hits the bottom line. No, so walking away from this, right? So you gotta go unbiased into every wine, even if it's expensive. You can't say, oh well, this is expensive, it's gonna be amazing. You can have expensive wine that sucks.
Yeah.
And you can have cheap wine that's amazing. So really, just try to have an open mind to what's going on. So just take.
a $4 rosé today. That's killer.
Yeah.
We should totally sell it.
Yeah, that's so. Take a look when you're tasting it.
Really good.
Look at your color. How big, how light is this? Really smell it. What do you smell? What do you taste? And then when you go to sell it, Tina, you can say, hey, I've got a great Pinot Noir. It's from Santa Barbara. It's light to medium, subtle fruit, a little cherry on the nose and plum on the finish. I just made that up, but oh, that sounds great. I think it's going to go really well with the appetizers you ordered. Versatile, right, Robin?
Also,
Versatile.
price to move.
Crowd pleaser.
Yeah,
The other
crowd
thing is-
pleaser.
Food friendly.
Food friendly,
And
all
so if
those
you
things.
tell people like we're pricing this one to move, like we're trying to get rid of it and move it to the next vintage or something, people will buy it up. You don't have to
Yeah.
price it to them. It doesn't matter. They don't know.
But you're the expert, right? They're in your restaurant. A lot of times you can, you smile at people and they're going to do whatever. They're like, all right, this girl's so nice to me. So it's that power of suggestion. So, but try to, like, when you're drinking wine on your own, just try to really just body type, nose, and palate are the easiest ways to decipher the wine. So I can say to Chris, we've got this, full-bodied Pinot Noir or full-bodied Cabernet from California, jammy fruit up front, lots of blackberries, currants, and it finishes with subtle smoke and tobacco. So I gave you the body type, the nose, the finish, and where it's from. That's it. It's easy.
right? We don't have to know any more than that. We don't have to get into, we're talking about left bank versus right bank. We don't have to get into that stuff. We can say that for us, but for the customer, just give them body, nose, finish.
Great.
Anything else?
Just fold this into your pre-shifts. This all connects.
Please.
Right, so you had the base month one, this is the second one, so fold this in, whatever takeaways, and I think we shared some great ideas.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
heard a lot of different perspectives from the different venues, so just take that and move on.
But it really sounds like with the wine, if you add it to a service note or make it a focus of the week, it sounds like that's what gets everyone to sell. So if there's something you guys want to sell, let's get the wine rep in, let's train. So we can move some shit. That prisoner, it's on the roof, it's crazy. So we can do all kinds of fun shit like that. So if you guys want nitrogen for the venues, let's order it. Let me know. We'll get it going. I know you probably have 75 ideas already.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Scotch next time?
Scotch tastings next with Kevin. Kev's like, let me put on my smoking jacket.
The next one's actually law and order.
One moment.
Law and order.
If it was tequila, I would have nailed it.
I was 80% sure.
Oh, the other thing, if you brought glasses, we have to take them back to the venue.
Hells yes.
That's the only thing.
Why would you tell me that? Like I'm not going to take all
If you dump all your liquids into the trash, and I'll take it to the sink and drink it.
And then if anyone wants to take the crusher home, it's available.
Nice.
One man.